Hello. 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 You can hear me.
Greetings. Welcome.
You can hear me, right? I can hear you
I hear you
loud
great.
and clear. Guess what? We're back.
We're back.
We'll get officially started in a minute or so. We'll let folks trickle in. We are live again for our Descript support Q&A. We're here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Is it actually, what time is it for you with the time change? Does your clock change?
My clock never changed,
It
but
never changes.
since you switched back, we're on the same time zone now. So I had to wait.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm so confused by Arizona.
it's weird.
Yeah, it's strange, but we're here. We are ready to take your questions, talk about Descript, answer anything that you may have related to Descript changes or anything else, workflows. Let's get started here. Uh, if you haven't joined us, welcome. If you haven't joined us before, welcome. And if you have joined us before, welcome back to the Descript Q&A. As I mentioned, we are here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific with members of the support team. So that is me, Trevor. I'm a member of the support team.
I am Salvatore, also a member of the support team.
And this is for pretty much anybody, whether you are just getting started with Descript or you have some experience with Descript and you just want to ask some questions to us, or if you're really just far along your Descript journey, really anywhere, however much experience you have. There are no bad questions. We will take questions from beginners to experts and everything in between. The goal of this session and every session is to just answer your questions live. If we don't get questions or questions are a little slow, we'll be happy to just demonstrate a few of our favorite features or some cool things coming out. But that's sort of the gist of the session. Some other resources. We have a help center with walkthroughs, tutorials, all sorts of troubleshooting guides if you're running into some issues, and just specific features. If you have a specific feature, the best way to get some info on it is to type in the search box on the help center, like studio sound. What does that do? And it'll give you a great description and page on what that is, what that specific feature is. If you're joining us on YouTube, which most of you are, we have a bunch of other video tutorials, feature reviews, announcements, and all past webinars are also available in the live tab, including this one, which will be available after the recording is done or the live session is done. You can also join our growing community on Discord, Reddit, and Facebook. Please join us and join in the discussion. We have lots of other Descript users there, happy to answer your questions. In Discord, we have a for hire channel. If you are looking to get hired as an editor or looking to have someone as an editor and coaches, and including this session, we have a lot of other webinars throughout the week and month that you can join. We have a live event page for more information. We'll shoot the link in the chat in just a moment. And if you have a specific question that we're not able to answer during the session, you can contact support directly. If you're in the app, just press the question mark at the top right and then contact us. I think that's actually contact support now. We can change that image or it will be. So yeah, that's how to contact us. If you want to talk to a person directly, just make sure to type in like agent or human to get connected directly versus our AI bot. And now it looks like we have a question already.
Yeah.
Right away, we have a question. When editing using the word processor, what is the best way? As my eyes skip ahead and look for words I want to eliminate to stop the playhead and then go right to that word.
That is a great question. Yeah.
Do we want to jump into Descript and sort of demo some of this?
Yes, let's do it. All right, I'll just open up this one really quick. So when you're speaking about the word processor, I'm assuming it's going to be the script editor here. So this displays your media via the script, which is super helpful for editing, especially recordings that are speech-based. But I believe the quickest way to jump to a word and have it play there is option click or command click, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Different support.
Option click, editor. So if you want to jump straight to a word and play it from there, you're going to highlight it and option click.
Talking about a subject that
And that just removes the need to use the space bar. So let's say I'm playing
today and talking about.
When I jump ahead there, I just click Option, click. So that should get that workflow a little bit faster for you.
Yeah, and clicking it using the option click, that just plays it from that point. If you just want to select a specific word, you just kind of click and drag like you would in any word processor. You mentioned it. I like how you mentioned that, saying the word processor, because Descript is text-based editing. So you are editing your video like you would a word processor. We do have a full timeline editing experience, but you do not have to use that if you don't want to. Like, we can just hide that completely and completely edit our video with multiple layers, other elements, just using this interface that you're seeing here. As we also linked, correcting your transcript if you have something that is spelled wrong, but you want to keep the audio, just a lot of different options using the editor, just like a Word document or word processor.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Keep them coming. If you want to let us know where you're from, let us know where you're from, where you're writing it from.
And what you're using Descript for. Love to hear if you are just starting out on Descript, if you're using it for something, or if you've never opened the app and you just stumbled upon this. What are you hoping to learn? Are you hoping to learn anything?
Right. We want to know.
We can start too. Like, what do you use Descript for outside of what we're doing now?
I like to use it because I'm a bit lazy, and I just, especially with stuff where I talk a lot, I just don't want to have to play through the whole thing and, stop and play. Oh, I stuttered here. I messed up a word here. So using the script-based element of Descript makes it super easy for me to just read this and remove stuff I don't like, or use any of our AI tools to help sort of speed up that process. How about you?
I use it for a few things. So I host, it was weekly, then it was bi-weekly. Now it's like every 3-week podcast. It helps because we record directly in Descript using rooms, and now we just edit from there, and it makes it really easy and saves a bunch of time. I also use it to make some fun educational videos on the side. That's all sort of for fun. And I started when I used to take a lot of photos when I travel, but now I take videos instead because I find that more fun to rewatch than like looking through a photo album on my phone. Or I feel like photo albums are slowly a dying art. As sad as it is, no one really has too many physical photo albums, but I love watching videos of past travels. So I use Descript to compile those. And now with Underlord, I just made one basically by like adding a bunch of videos and asking Underlord to just put it together, add some music, and sort of let it ride from there. And it did a pretty great job. I only had to make a few tweaks from there and saved me a lot of time.
I love that. That's a beautiful use case. Yeah.
Our Brian Race says, I use it to remove filler words from podcasts. A great reason to do it. That's one of the main things I use when I'm like editing, is I start with that and sort of then go from there. And then sometimes I like to keep them in like a few times to add for timing.
Got another question here.
That's a good question. Yeah. It's this is from Janelle Joe, how to listen to your voice creation, not the Descript ones, to check the way it sounds before adding to your project, how to edit for excitement, exclamation points, tonality. So it sounds like this question is about AI speech. I'm guessing, if you want to clarify if it's not about AI speech, but it's how to listen to it before you're sort of adding it to your project. There's a couple of the best way to do it. We opened up a new project, and we're going to sort of demo the text to speech, the AI speaker workflow here.
Yes. I don't believe there's a way to preview your voice. Because when you're using your custom AI speaker, it's in the context of the speech or the script that you're writing. So I think the easiest way would be to just start a blank project and maybe type in a sentence just to give it a quick preview. Hi, my name is Salvatore, for example.
And you see that generating AI speech. Whenever you type it, it will generate, but you can adjust it from there. So you can like hear it and then adjust it from there. Do you have, it doesn't sound like you or your excitement is the follow-up question there. There's a few things we can do that we'll get to in a second. Are you using the 11 Labs, the V3 Alpha?
It should be on there. Let me double check. Unless I think we switch things around here. There we go. So text to speech. Oh, no, it's on V2. So if you want to add some more customizable options for your script, I would recommend switching to this 11 Labs V3 Alpha. And this is new from 11 Labs. It's still a work in progress from what we understand. It's not quite beta yet. But if you switch to it under AI models, it works really well. It sounds great. And it gives you the ability to add emotion and really direct how your AI speaker sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to that V3, and then we'll just play this back to sort of see.
Hi, my name is Salvatore.
Salvatore.
So
the cool thing with this is now with the V3 option selected, we can add brackets to the beginning and add direction. So let me just put whisper right before my phrase. So we'll just let that generate.
Hi, my name is Salvatore. Hi.
So that's very creepy, but it's certainly whispered. So I would experiment with that. This gives you much more control over, particular phrases that you want to emphasize and, adding excitement, things like that.
So we got a few questions. I was muted there because I was typing, bringing up the guide. I just linked the guide on how to add this, and it also links to the guide from 11 Labs, which has all of the brackets. I don't know, the inline prompts, I think is what
inline prompts. There it is.
Inline prompts is what they're referred to. So yeah, we work with this the 11 Labs V3 model, which is in alpha. Maybe it changed to beta. I'm not sure. But it's still in active development. So you might find a glitch or two with some of the behavior, especially with longer voices. But it is really cool, and I highly recommend playing around with it to get more specific tones with your voice. We don't have, like, if you have a voice in 11 Labs that's not in Descript, there's not a way to port that over at the moment. But you can always record your own voice in Descript and then use the inline prompts. It's with any speaker in Descript. The follow-up question: can you use the AI voice for the whole video or just a few sentences? You can use it for the whole video. There is a limit based on like AI credits. Text to speech uses what? Do you know how many?
5? I think it's 5 for text to speech. I want to say.
Okay. And for best performances, we do say keep each paragraph under 1,800 characters per time. So you'll want to generate it by like that chunk, but you can do it for a whole video.
Let me just double check here. Yep. It's going to be
5 per minute, or what is it?
5 AI credits per minute of text to speech audio. Yep.
Okay. And another question, Jonathan Daniel Bowen was saying, I created a professional voice. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you can always create audio in 11 Labs and then import that audio. There should be a way to like export that as an MP3 or WAV and then import it into Descript. Yeah, and upload it as just an audio file and work from there. But we have the capability to generate the text-to-speech in Descript if you want, just not with any voices that are created in other apps. I think that is something we're looking into. At the very least, that's sort of a hopeful future with some upcoming updates, but nothing like set in stone or anything I can promise for sure.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool.
But, if there is something, we do have a feature request page. If there's any feature that you are like dying for, that you would love, that would super improve your workflow, we do have a feature request page that you can up a lot of the features that you might thought of. you might think of. Someone else probably submitted a feature request already for it. So you can try and search the feature request page and upvote that feature, or you can submit a new one, and we'll typically like merge any that we find that are duplicates. We just sent the link to the feature request page there. I believe there is one on this already, but I would have to check.
Oops, there we go. Yeah, so that's definitely helpful for adding functionality to the app. We always scan that, and a lot of our features have stemmed from, upvoted feature requests. So definitely keep an eye out on that.
Multi-select was a big one.
Yeah. Media library. That one.
Media library, yeah.
We were all hoping for that.
We were all hoping for that. I mean, there's been a lot of feature requests that had finally come. Some of them are done instantly. Some of them take a little bit longer.
Yeah. I think last time we were talking about how one of them was an accident, and it just, I guess we can do that now.
What was the accident?
I forget. I think it was the still frame one, capturing a frame.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah. So yes, definitely recommend that.
Any questions we have beyond what we've been asked? Otherwise, we can start demoing some other features, or just how you would start to edit a project together, and some questions usually generate from there.
Yeah, we'd be happy to just jump in. But please feel free to drop any questions. Let's see. We recently did the 3-person recording. Do you remember what we titled it?
Is it Descript support? Oh, my apologies. Well, we do have another question. We'll find that one. We recorded a great podcast with 3 of us. This is a question from Janelle Joe.
Oh, great question.
The wrong one. How to create your own avatar. I don't see an option in Descript. If I have an avatar from HeyGen, can I upload it? Kind of, not entirely, but we'll show. We'll go through the process. The entire avatar process here.
So Descript can generate an avatar for you, either by choosing one of our stock options or uploading an image. In this case, if you have a generated avatar from HeyGen, I don't think you could port over that specific avatar into Descript, but you can take a still image of your avatar and use Descript to build your own avatar within our ecosystem. So for example, let me just add some more text here. Hi. And I'm just going to choose myself as the speaker label here. And in order to generate an avatar, you need to have some script media or text-to-speech using AI. So for this example, I'm just choosing myself and typing in some text here. And I want to make an avatar. So when you click on your speaker label here, it's going to have an option to assign an avatar to Salvatore, which is me. And when you click on that, this is where you make your avatar. You can either type a prompt in. You can click on this back button to choose our stock options. But in your case, you can upload an image. So if you upload an image file, you can choose, any landscape image. I think we recommend like a portrait style that's at least above the shoulders. And you can upload an image of your existing avatar if you have a still image from it, and it should be able to recreate it pretty closely.
Yeah, the thing is, when we generate an avatar, it's animating based on the text. Oh,
yeah.
Was I muted?
No, you weren't.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I thought it was muted. But yeah, so it animates based on the text. So when you, that's why can you import another avatar? If you have a video of it, you could just add that to the project, your avatar that's generated, like as an MP4 or an MOV. But the image is what I would recommend, because it's going to reanimate based on the mouth movements. It might do some other additional movements. It's sort of just generating to match what you're saying. And that's kind of the best way to do it. But It does take a bit.
Yeah. So if you could get a high quality still of your existing avatar, that would be probably our recommendation. And you would just upload that here. I don't really have an image to play around with, but you'll see a preview of it here, a static image, and then you just click assign and it'll start to generate once you're ready and done with your script. So that's a great question.
We did have another question. This is coming from Marvin, the podcast manager. I was trying to do AI multicam with 3 people. It defaulted to the 3-person side-by-side view, but I wanted a different layout for 3 that was given in the gallery, but I couldn't see to select it. So this is now we can try and find that 3-person view, but I'm going to look to see if I can find it on my end and maybe I can reshare it. It should be in that drive here. We have one prepared, I believe.
Yeah, this should be similar. It's not going to be an AI or avatar for the speakers, but the same concept should apply since multicam uses the speaker labels to determine when the angle switches. So it should be similar.
It should be. Oh, is this not shared in the drive with everybody? Yeah, it should be. Are you in the support drive? It should be called main composition.
Main.
Maybe just because you haven't viewed it.
Yeah, there it is.
So we're going to answer this question here with our own version of a 3-person recording.
Yep, we had myself, Trevor, and Gabe. We just did a little quick podcast about the color purple, I believe. The world.
The ocean is purple.
The ocean is purple.
It's a random generated topic from some website.
Right. So let's, for example, I want to use automatic multicam on this, and in your case, this would be an avatar for these different speakers. So the same concept would apply. We're just going to go to AI tools and then run automatic multicam. And from here, we can sort of customize how the look will be. If you want it to be automatic, so occasionally on automatic, it'll show a split screen view as well as active speakers. Or if you just want the active speaker shown full screen the whole time, you can choose that if you'd like. But in this case, I think you might be referring to the layout. So you can change sort of the look of how the videos are divided. So you can change the layout pack here. In this case, it defaults to just like the standard split screen, but you could certainly change it to maybe the style right here. And it'll do its best to match what's in your project or your sequence to match this layout. And if you're having trouble with that, that's definitely something we'd like to look into. So I'm just going to go ahead and run it for an example here. And if you're,
I'm wondering if it, when you mean you can't select it, if it's hidden, because if you have a filter where it's like match composition layers only, it might only be showing specific layouts. But if you're looking for the 3-person, then it should be there.
Yes. So let me just sort of skim through this. So you'll see that when Gabe is speaking, it shows Gabe. Occasionally it'll do myself and Trevor side by side. All 3 of us side by side, which is neat. Like so. Another cool thing is you can always affect scenes manually. So let's say for this scene, I don't quite like how this is set up. You can change the layout of a specific scene individually as well. So if I just wanted to change this up a little bit, I could change the layout pack and choose something completely different. Let's do this one, for example. Let's do it the 3-person, or we could do this one as well. So that's an easy way to switch.
One, yeah.
And yeah, that's super cool.
And you mentioned scene. Do you want to quickly describe what the scenes look like or what the purpose is?
Yes, great question. So scenes are the way that Descript divides your video into segments. By themselves, they don't really do anything unless you change a visual element. So for example, this whole section where Trevor is speaking
kind of feels like a video game.
So let's say I want to highlight video game. I want to do something cool there visually. So I'm going to add a scene boundary. And the way I do that is by doing /. So I'm going to add one right before and after video game. So now this whole section, video game, is its own scene. And whatever I do here won't affect the rest of the video. So I'm just going to zoom in and do like a crop shot on his face right there. So I'm going to play it back from before.
feels like a video game where I
So that's a really cool way to animate and just add some flair to your videos where you want to do specific changes to one portion of your video without affecting the rest. And sorry.
Awesome. No, we had a few questions that came in. I'm going to answer this just real quick from Marvin, just because it's the most relevant, and then we'll go from the top down. Marvin just was asking, can you select a different 3-person layout view? I wasn't able to do that. Do you want to try showing from when we're actually, you can even show it from this one, from like this scene too, but we'll show you how to change the layout again. Just show a couple of different entry points.
Sure. So you can click on it right from the script editor. You can change the layout here. So that little pop-up will come up, and you might need to click into the actual layout pack. You see where there's 5 more. And then you could get specific with the layout that you want to try. So I'm going to choose this focus 3 camera one. It should apply to this scene like so. Alternatively, these are also scene thumbnails. So if you click on it here and then go to properties, you'll have some parameters that you could change for what's selected. In this case, I have this scene selected, so I could change the layout here as well. And let's just switch it over to 2-person. So it shows Gabe and I. So those are a couple ways.
And you can change which person shows up in this, because I think I'm talking here, but both of you are showed up.
Yeah.
So you are the audience in my podcast.
It is I.
So that was one question. We did see a quick one from Rage Against the Audacity. Can you use the avatar for the entire script, or is there a limit? We answered this a bit earlier, but this is a pop in and pop out, so there's no shame in asking any questions. We're happy to answer the same question 50 times throughout the thing. That wasn't to call out this question, because it is a great question. You can use an avatar. Actually, no, this wasn't asked. There was a different question that was similar. It was to use text to speech throughout. So this, yes, you can use avatar for the entire script. I believe there is it a 12 or 10 minute maximum?
12 minutes for a composition.
Okay.
Yep.
So the max on an avatar script or generation, it's 12 minutes. You can't have it be longer than 12 minutes at a time. So if you need like a 20-minute avatar generation, we recommend doing a like 12-minute composition, or like 2 10-minute compositions, and then like combine them together, export it, and then recombine it, and then export that. This is just sort of a limitation of the avatars, and they generally work well with shorter compositions anyway. So that's, I guess, the time limit is 12 minutes.
Yeah. And on top of that, it also depends on how many AI credits you have on your plan, because generating avatars does cost AI credits, and yeah, however long your avatar is, that's how much the equivalent of the AI credits you're using. So we can definitely drop that in as well. A great question.
And then we had another one right below it. I was sort of going in reverse order a little bit. I thought audiograms were a fantastic idea for my marketing, but I quit after being frustrated with my AI voice. Do you have any updates on the feature, a roadmap? So are you talking about updates for AI speakers or for audiograms? Because we're happy to talk about both at the same time as well. But funny thing about audiograms is the feature used to be an export. So when you were going to export, you could choose audiogram as a way to export, as like a specific way to export, and it would just publish it or download it as like the audiogram, and you would add elements from the export panel or the export widget. Now you can create audiograms. Yeah, this was in like Descript Classic. Now audiograms you would just create within your project. So we can create a short one here if you want, like just to basically, you can create a scene or create a new, audiograms. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, the update to audiograms was done when we changed that. But the way to make audiograms right now is to kind of just work within your editor and export that selection or create a new composition to create that. Social clips have definitely come a long way in Descript, and there's certainly more little ways to go to improve it. But we can do like a quick demo of just the process of creating a social clip and how to kind of create it as an audiogram-esque thing with waveforms, elements, and like how to export that. And if there's anything that you want shown, or if there's like, I don't know how to do that, or you're seeing something different, feel free to stop us and ask a question. Do you want to show a little quick clip?
Yes.
Making?
Let's make a clip. Let's
make a clip.
Let's make a clip. There's a lot of ways we can do this. If you want to do it where you just want the script to decide on what to make, you can go to AI tools, and we have a couple of options for creating clips. So I'm going to scroll down here. It should be under repurpose, and we can create clips. So Descript will scan your entire script and find like really key elements that would do well. Create a highlight reel. It's just going to sort of do a compilation of the best moments or find highlights, which is things that you've highlighted in your script. So in this case, you can choose any of these options and Descript will make it for you. So let's go ahead and just make clips really quick. And when you click on that option, you'll have a layout that you can choose from. And I think this is the important part of how your audiogram will look. From the start, you'll be presented with social clips as the default, which is usually a good starting point for sharing with social media. It centers the speaker, creates it in the vertical format, and adds captions. But we certainly have more layouts that you can choose from. And I think we might have a specific audiogram layout.
We should have, yeah. If it's not in this layout pack, we might have it in another or a few.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I see. Okay.
Did you search it?
Gonna change this to portrait.
Show all layouts.
Come on.
Are you searching enter? Maybe maybe we're encountering a small bug.
Might be, yeah.
I'm gonna try it on my end as well.
Well, let me remove the filter entirely. Oh wait, you can't. Anyway, the layout is basically, it's just a predetermined way of how your new clips will look. And
try searching from the properties panel.
Properties.
So from this one, if you look for a new layout, or if you change, you might need to change the layout pack.
Yeah.
To the like the main one, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Ah, there we go.
So here are some pre-made options for you. But I think when you're creating the clip using the AI tool, it'll sort of filter it down to vertical results. That's probably why it's not coming up. So I'm just going to go ahead and just go with the social clip for now as an example, and then we can show you how to add more elements to it to really tailor it to how you want it to look. So it's creating some clips for me, and you can totally do this manually as well if you have a specific section, but I'm just using our tools here. So it made 5 clips for me. I'm going to click done, and then you can just see those new compositions pop up here under project. So I'm going to go into one of them here. Let's play this back.
I just imagine myself, I'm in the desert or I'm in a forest, and if I see purple, I'm like, this is either something good or something very bad.
Yeah.
So right away, this is a quick and easy video that you could share on socials. And one way to sort of spice this up and add some more elements that are pretty common with audiograms is adding like a waveform. So if you go to our elements tab here, you can go down to waveforms and just add a waveform element.
So the ocean being purple is either something very...
You can certainly move that to where you want it to look best.
Some of these take a little bit of like manual working just so it looks pretty. We've definitely made some puke audiograms on these sessions before by just adding random elements.
Yeah. This one looks pretty decent.
No, this one looks good. This is not one of those.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of our old layouts with like the forest and the like
Yeah.
pixie dust, and there was just some random stuff like the fairy dust. There's just some random stuff. I do want to quickly call out there is a quick back and forth going on with our chat about AI credits. If you do use AI credits and for some reason something doesn't work, please reach out to the support team so we can assist, because you're likely either encountering a bug or something is working and it's just sort of in a weird place. But we're more often than not happy to help accommodate and help get you set back up on credits if something is not working as expected, or at the very least, we'll show you how to do it as expected and comp that specific action.
Yeah.
Including creating clips if something happens there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're always happy to help there. Yeah, because things can certainly not work as expected, and we want to look into that for you.
On the note of audiograms, this is from Jonathan Daniel Bowen again. I feel as though some people don't turn on the volume when watching videos. 100%. If you're just scrolling through the feed, I didn't have the camera showing, but I was doing this. I was doing like scrolling.
Yeah,
this
the
is me
old
scrolling through the feed. Yeah, just like often don't like have volume on or very, very low. So captions are huge right now. They were huge 3 years ago. They're still big, and Descript can do it automatically for you with the transcription. So utilize captions, utilize the elements, utilize waveforms, utilize everything you can in your toolbox from the elements and captions tab to make these really stand out so that people don't scroll away if you're making like a social clip.
100% agree. And to sort of add to that, if you have something that you really like and that you've created, for example, this one that we're sort of just messing around with, and you'd like to use it again, you can always save your layouts so you can reuse them in future scenes. That way you don't have to sort of rebuild the same look each time. So let's say I like the way this looks and I just want this to be consistent throughout my future content. I can save this scene by right-clicking on it and save it as a layout. And I could just call this my audiogram layout. And from here, you would be asked where you want to save it to. If you have an existing layout pack you're working from or you don't, you could just create a new one. I'm going to create a new one here, for example, and click continue. Once everything looks good, I'm going to go ahead and create pack and save. So this way, if I want to quickly reuse this look, I can reapply it as a layout without having to rebuild it from scratch. So I'm just going to give this another moment to sort of save to our drive, but
And now we can make all the audiograms we want with this.
all
of the audiograms.
All of them. So you'll see that audiogram layout pack that we just created pops up, and I'm going to use this layout pack that we made. And there we go. In this particular case, this is a multicam setup. So it's, since I had Gabe highlighted when we were making the layout, it's going to default to Gabe's layer. But if you're working with just a single layer, you could always, change those properties when you're making the layout. But just wanted to call that out really quick. And there we are.
And there we are.
There we are. Here we are.
How are we doing, everybody? Anyone have any questions? Just strike up any questions about your workflow, anything that you asked that we kind of missed that you'd like some clarification on. This is your time, as it's not really our time. You lead our discussion. Otherwise, if you want it to be our time, we'll just play around and make more silly audiograms and layouts and add some stuff. What I always recommend us doing is adding green screen and then playing around with it. Yeah, Gabe's layer or layer.
TBD.
TBD. I think it's Gabe's layer is in Gabe's layer.
Ah.
Well, why don't we put Gabe in a layer?
We should put Gabe in a layer.
Do you know how to? You want to do that?
How? Like,
well, I was thinking
AI
we put green
does?
screen and then we find.
Oh.
Let's create an AI layer.
let's do this the old-fashioned way first. If you haven't messed with green screen, this is a fun way to change your background up. So we have Gabe right here. I have the script track selected, so I'm going to visual effects and apply green screen. And it might take a few moments to process, but that uses AI to sort of remove your background for you. So now we have Gabe kind of in a layer already, just the black abyss here. But I want to change this background, so I'm going to look for a stock image of a cave, because this is what we do.
You're doing a stock image? You don't want to create Gabe's layer? What would happen if we generate Gabe's layer?
Let's generate it. Let's generate an image. Generate Gabe's layer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what it.
Just gonna go see what happens.
What is Gabe's layer?
We'll leave it to AI to interpret that for us.
It is up to AI to interpret this. It is up to what's the model you're using.
Yep, very true. Oh, we got some results here. We got 4 results.
So when you generate an image, it will give you 4 results to choose from based on the model that you select, and you can add all or some. Nano Banana is what we're choosing. We have a bunch of different options to choose from. You can also change that to only. By default, I think it's 4 results because, AI is random sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great model. AI is random. I think those are good words to live by. Oh, these are pretty cool. Let's just take a look at this. Game zone. Wow, that's
what's our favorite one?
That's option number 1. We've got number 2. These are actually just images from Gabe's apartment.
Okay, this is like a security desk here. Looks like Batman's lair. Gabe's sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Ooh. I
Very
like that
nice.
one with the text is still.
Great. So I'm just going to add that in as a layer. From the start, it's going to be on top of everything. So we're just going to have to do some layer adjusting here. If I right click, you can change the order of this image. So I'm going to send it backwards. Oh, send it to the back. There we go. And I can fill the whole editor with this image. Beautiful. Wow. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So the ocean being purple is either something very, very good or something very bad.
I think we did it. This is what webinars are for.
This is what they're for, and this is what this podcast is for. Is specifically making Gabe, because Gabe is not here. Making Gabe's video looks weird.
It is where he keeps all his sanctuaries. So that's great. If I want to animate, let's mess around with some animations. I want Gabe to sort of just slide in. I'm going to select his layer, and then from the properties panel again, I'm going to add a custom animation. So from here, you can see these keyframes pop up. So I want the starting keyframe to be right at the start of the scene, and it's going to be there. And then for the end keyframe, we'll just have it there. I think I did that right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many layers. There we go.
There's so many layers or layers.
So many layers.
Yeah.
What is? Oh, I see. I think I had the wrong layer selected.
Oh, you did the wrong layer selected. You
The
selected
wrong
the layer,
layer.
not the layer.
Wrong layer.
Wrong layer.
I have a love and hate relationship with this gradient layer because it looks great. It just
It does. Yeah, I love the gradient layer, which is used in a lot of our default layouts. But yeah, it does add a little bit of a annoyance.
Okay, there we go. Starting keyframe, end keyframe. Okay. All right. So yeah, if anyone has any questions while I'm messing around with this, please feel free and save me. There we go. I'm just going to have the layer. The layer be the layer.
I don't want anyone to save
Very
you. I
bad.
want to watch you do this.
So the
Yeah.
ocean being purple is either something very, very good
The
or
layer
something
comes
very
in.
bad.
There we go.
There we go.
Beautiful.
So this is the kind of stuff that we were talking about that we play around with.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Any other questions? We got about 15 or so minutes left in this session. Like we were saying, the time is yours. If you have questions, we are happy to answer anything. Otherwise, we can keep going through editing. We haven't gone through just generally editing the project yet, like our general workflow for editing something like a 3-person rooms. We did automatic multicam, which is you can do at any point. But typically we like to do a couple of other things to make a, how long is this original recording?
Let me find out. The main one is 11 minutes and 38 seconds.
So yeah, so I mean, something like 11 minutes. What would happen if we applied some of those AI tools?
Let's do it. So this is completely raw as far as the script goes. I haven't really edited anything out. As I mentioned earlier, we can easily just go through the script and remove stuff we don't like. But we have some tools that might help speed up that workflow. So if you go to AI tools to the right here, you'll be greeted with some options here. Since we recorded this in Rooms, it's our built-in remote conferencing recording solution. You'll have some suggestions here, such as automatic multicam, which we did, studio sound, edit for clarity. I especially like edit for clarity because it sort of combines a couple tools into one, and it will remove filler words, digressions, blather, and just overall clean up your script and make it more concise. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And
It's kind of a one size fits all.
Yes, good all-arounder. I think I'm going to choose medium. You know, I want to have a little bit more of a natural flow, so I'm just going to submit, and we'll see what we get here. And it's basically going through the entire script and removing any filler, fluff. And from what we can see, it looks like there are 85 edit suggestions, and you can manually approve these by accepting the edit or discarding them. So let's say I want to keep that little double word that I said. You can discard it so it doesn't edit it out, but I feel good about this, so I'm just going to click done and accept the changes. And from there, you can see that our script or our overall composition is now 10 minutes and 19 seconds. So it should be pretty concise now. Let's play it back.
All right, welcome to, but we have 3 members of the support team where we have.
So I feel like that edit could have stayed. So the cool thing about this is you can always restore something that's been removed or ignored. So when there's a line through it, that means it's going to be in the script for you to sort of see the edit, but it's not going to play back. So I'm going to restore that because I think that was pretty key.
Welcome to, we don't have an official name for this podcast, but we have 3 members of the support.
And there you are. Quickly restore stuff that you want to keep in. But overall, this just saved me a bunch of time instead of going through the whole 10-minute or 11-minute script. And happy to keep going through some of these other options. Let's try studio sound. I think all 3 of us just recorded straight on our laptop microphones, so I think we could use a little improvement here.
Do you have someone in the lair over there?
Someone in the lair.
Does Salvatore have a lair?
Can you hear that? Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that might be our flooring is like super hollow, so any light stuff. And we have
need to install a
1-year-old
layer so that to block the sound.
I feel like I should, yeah. So yeah, let's say for example I want to get rid of background noise such as that while we were recording. Studio sound can help with this. It basically just improves speech, gets rid of background noise, and does some fancy improvements. So it'll
make it sound like you recorded in a lair.
In a layer, a studio
A
layer.
studio lair. That's the word of the day.
Word of the day.
Thank
studio
you,
layer.
big small giant.
Let's see what this sounds like. Might be processing still. I see the waveforms.
Like you don't, your
Right.
brain naturally kind of goes, oh, food isn't blue. I'm not eating this unless it's
Let's turn it off and compare.
blue. Like you don't, your
Right.
brain naturally kind
So you can hear Gabe's layer
like
in the background.
That gross kind of ringing
Yeah, let's turn it
happens when
off.
there's a little bit of an echo.
like you don't, your
Right.
brain naturally kind of goes, oh, food isn't blue.
Just makes it sound like we were using $2,000 microphones, which is great. Is there? Oh, we got a question here from
there-
Janelle.
Here it is. Is there a way to edit custom layouts once created? Great question.
Yes.
Yes, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We made one already today, right? Do we want to show how to
We
how to
did,
edit
yeah.
that?
Let's go back to the one that we created. So the way to access that is we're going to go back to our drive view. This is sort of our main homepage, and then we're going to go to the layout pack section here. And I believe I called it audiograms. Yep. So I'm going to just open up this layout project. So this looks like a typical Descript project, but it's not. It's a layout project. Most of everything will be the same. You'll just have this banner that says you're editing a layout pack. And from here, you can sort of just see all the elements that we've added to that layout. And the waveform, the caption, gradient is all there. And here you can continue tweaking. You can add stuff, remove stuff. Let's say I want to change the background to be more on brand with my colors. Let's just do something like, ooh, that's nice. And let's just,
Ooh, I like that.
ooh, isn't that nice? That's pretty nice, right?
That's nice.
Let's add a timer. I like timers. I'll put that off in the corner here so I can just sort of see a countdown. And yeah, this looks great to me. So I just want to go ahead and save this and update the existing layout. We're just going to go to the top right here and click Publish Changes and Publish Changes again. So this will update the layout pack and the existing layout that we updated.
Yep. There's also a couple of other ways to do this if you don't even want to join back into the layout pack editor. You can go to, if we want to just show while this publishes, going back to the editor. So if you, let's jump back into a project. If you apply this layout to a scene, the one that we created.
Oh, yep.
So audiograms.
Oh,
It might be because it's portrait, right?
So yeah, let me go to one of our clips and apply it. There we go.
So, right, this one's already applied here. If you make any changes,
let's move the caption layer to the middle.
Then we can save this scene as a layout from here. So if we add other elements, or if we change how an element looks, we change the font of the captions, we do really any kind of changes. We've already applied the layout to the scene. So right now we're not changing the layout. We are just changing the edit from our project. But if we like how this looks, we can now save this scene as a layout as well. And when we do, yeah, we're changing the background to red. Like we're doing all sorts of things to make this look cooler and better. I like this. Let's change the size of this so it's like behind Gabe's eyes or something. Yeah.
There we go.
We can get really funky with it. Change the font.
Change the font, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
World is our oyster.
I mean, we're just doing random things. But if we save this now as a layout, like we showed earlier.
So right click, save scene as a new layout.
You can choose to save it at. Oh yeah, it's just so it's saving where it says save to. in this thing. You can choose to save it to the existing layout pack, or you can create a new one, or you can save it to a different one. So that's just another way to edit existing layouts that you have if you don't want to go to the layout pack editor.
Yeah, so I could call this audiogram version 2 or something to separate it, and now you have some options that you could choose from.
Perfect.
Save.
All right. We got about 5 minutes left on this week's session. Do we have any final questions for the week? Otherwise, we can sort of cap things off there. As always, we will be back next week, same time, same place, probably the same people. We have a small rotation, so at the very least, we'll all sort of be around. But
probably have the same outfit on. Sorry about that.
we'll have the same outfit on.
Tuesday is laundry day. What can I say?
I just generally use like I feel like I'll always have my one color, my monochrome shirts on, and some sort of hat.
What's that?
I don't have a crazy wardrobe to go through for these. In general, I like to keep things a little simple because it goes well with my background.
That's a key way to do it.
It pops me out. Well, with Descript, you can add any background you want, including Gabe's lair.
Green screen.
All right. Well, with that, we can end today's session. Thank you once again. This will be available to review if you missed the beginning or any part of this, and we will be back next week. Thank you all for joining.
We'll see.